It's a Saturday afternoon. I have a piece of 1990s, I think, or maybe late 80s electronics to have a look at. And this is a 90 memory dialer from Radio Shack. It remembers a bunch of phone numbers. It looks like 3 sets, level 2, level 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 30 and 3 sets. So 90 memory dialer. It's got a store button. It's pretty obvious how it works. It connects to a phone and then allows you to dial all these numbers by just pressing the relevant button, the store button. Probably you'd push that. You'd push the button you want it to go into. I don't know. I probably do have the manual for this around somewhere, but and then you dial the number on your phone, hit store again, and that's how these things normally worked. I haven't looked at this, and I don't actually have a landline anymore, so I'm not entirely sure how we can play with this very much. My one thought is to use the oscilloscope, and we could have a look at what it might have programmed in it already. It did. I've switched the faceplate so I don't show the names of what was programmed in it before, but it should conceivably have some numbers programmed in at least. There's a few of these positions here, so maybe we can look at that. But if nothing else, we'll have a look inside and see how they manufactured something like this. It's fairly heavy, but it's got a couple of AAA batteries in, which I would expect are completely a mess. So let's have a look at that, and then we'll pop the screws and get the rest of the thing open and have a look at that. So one screw. It's interesting that there's a screw to hold the battery compartment in place. Maybe that's because if you take them out, oh, and there are no batteries in it. Well, that's probably good for our purposes. But it might mean that there's nothing stored in here anymore. So I'm thinking, why would you put a screw on it? It's not intended for little children. But if these come out, maybe it loses its memories. This is probably old enough that it doesn't have a flash in it. So again, I'm not sure. I do have an older phone which we might be able to hook into it. So you'd hook the line in and the phone in at the other end. Let's see, can we get this open? I don't think there. I'll just have a look. Oh, there are other screws. I was wrong. I got these screws out too. This is not, the screwdriver's a little small for these, but they aren't that tight, so it's fine. All right, there we go. So what do we see in here? And already it's looking far more interesting than I was expecting. Let's see what we got. We've got some big transformers to handle the phone line. I presume they're being used to drop the phone line, which can have, what, up to 40 volts or something like that on it. We've got an IC under here. We've got one here, HT9170C. Look if we see if we've got any dates. This one ends with 83 at the bottom. I'm wondering if that might be, that would make this a little earlier than I thought it was. So let's see, there's one screw there. And that seems to go in, so maybe we can get this off if we can get this screw out. I'm thinking the likelihood of getting this working is, so that we can see something, is fairly low at this point, but we'll try. Okay, right, something's lifting up. Can we swing this back? Oh, and get the look. Oh yeah. So what have we got? Relays maybe? The big transformers. Fuse. Capacitor. There's no power supply on this, so the power supply is either being driven by these batteries are providing it, but it also might be powered from the phone line. And the chip says Sinco, SINCO, DR5H9826B. And we've got another chip here that says HT24LC16, and then ending with 94. I have no idea what the date of this is. I would have said 90s, but I don't know. So we can see, I'm going to try not to take the keyboard apart, but we can see the LED there that's on the store button here. This has got to be the processor that's in doing the whole thing. It's really fairly complex. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 transistors, at least that I can see. We've got a whole 4 diodes, right? So we've got a rectifier here. I mean, again, this is going to be coming off the phone line. I can't remember what the peak voltage on the dial is, but it's enough that it hurts if you're not ready for it. I can tell you that by experience. And then there's a DC signal on phone lines anyway to power the phone, so I guess that would work like a DC bias on a microphone or something, or like that, or even power over Ethernet, right? So what I'll do is I'll go find a couple of AA batteries and see if the light lights up or anything, and then we'll try to, if so, we'll try to hook the oscilloscope up and see if it does anything. I'm expecting not. So yeah, as I said, I don't have a corded phone to plug into this, so I don't really have that much I can do with it beyond this. Well, I'll get those batteries and we'll see what happens. So here are a couple of batteries. I got a beep, so that's something. So I believe originally it had numbers stored on these top 4 and this one. And so we're getting a beep and it's lighting up the store light, which means I think it's telling us that that nothing is stored in those locations. But honestly, I think it works, right? Yeah, I don't know. But really, there's not really much ability to test this without a phone line to play with it, or at the very least a phone to plug into it. And I don't have one, or nothing that's really convenient. I've got an old cordless phone set that might work, but yeah. I mean, what's really interesting about this is just how quickly this technology sort of died, right? By 2000, in 2000, most people still had phone lines. A few people were going over to cell phone only, but now, you know, unless you need it for health reasons or something, who really has a phone line anymore? I mean, the funny thing is, until relatively recently, my phone line was active. Well, I had to do with a dry loop on it anyway, because I was still getting my internet in via DSL, but we switched over to using cable. Fiber isn't really an option here, and so that's now closed out. I mean, the technology that for those of us who are a bit older was so ubiquitous, right? I mean, like, we expect to see big transformers in it because you need them, and, you know, I'm assuming these are relays. You see the pins on the back? Well, they might be transformers too. I don't know. No. Well, there should be relays in it, right? To take it on and off hook, because it's got to be able to take it off hook and dial, so, and then switch it over to the phone line. So it does need relays. Those have to be relays. But anyway, as I was saying, this technology was so ubiquitous, and then just disappeared. Right, between 2010 and now, like, it's kind of gone. Who, unless you need it because you're in a rural area or you need it for health connections or something, POTS, plain old telephone service, is gone. Right, it just disappeared. Anyhow, well, I hope this was interesting. There isn't really much to say about it. I'm going to hold on to it. There are interesting parts, right? These transformers are potentially useful. This is going to be just a standard audio transformer, probably. I mean, it's really well built, right? This was well thought out, and it might be interesting to look up whether this is a special purpose chip. I bet it is, or a microcontroller of some sort. And yeah, that's a pretty neat thing. Anyhow, thanks for watching.